is the hook flip. We're going to start from the butterfly guard, his slide advantage, which is where my feet are on the inside, and he's got me flat with his head underneath. So before I go to do anything, I need to get my head underneath his. If his head is to the side, I know that he's going to be, trying to pass the guard this way. So I'm going to try to, before I push him off, I'm going to try to square his head up with me. So look, I just kind of reach over, I lift my hip a little and bump his head to the center. Now I start digging underneath his neck. So my palms are right on his collarbones. I'm going to push with my arms and kick with my feet a little. I'm trying to elevate his head so that my head can get underneath. Okay? That's important. Fight for that head position. Once again, if I do all that work and I let Luis get his head under his back is straight, he can drive me to the floor a little bit. It starts to make my life more complicated. So once I get up under here, you can hook flip with an underhook or an overhook. I'm going to work you guys the overhook right now. So what I do is I reach over the arm and I want to feed his lapel to my hand here. Okay? This hand goes on the ground and I'm going to extract my foot and put it to the outside of his knee. All right? Now instead of staying straight in front of him, I want to move out to the side and create an angle. So what I'm doing with this body weight is I'm making it so all of his weight is kind of going down into this hole right here. I know that he's going to try to use his hand on the ground to block that. Okay? So when we start to fall, you see how his hand is stopping that? So what I do is I just take his hand out of the equation. I can do that by pulling his arm into my body or stuffing his hand into his body. Both are going to work fine just depending on what you feel more comfortable with or what he allows you to do. I'm going to go for his elbow just for right now. I'm going to collapse his arm, and I just fall to my side on my shoulder. Now my head can go on the ground, so I get more lift. And all I do is I start lifting with my foot. Most of the time, you can try to mount with it. Most of the time, my experience is, the guy's good, you're not going to get a full mount. So what I typically try to do is just be content with getting that top side control. So as I go over, he's going to start turning to his side a little and try to get back into me. I'm going to make some distance and shove his head down. My underhook hand now releases that collar for this drill right here. I'm going to go behind the head with the back of my hand and just start to spin around. And you get a deep underhook crossface position. All right? One more time. So he's flattened me out. All right? I'm going to square his head up, hands going to his collarbone. I push. I'm going to get my head in. This is going to buy me some time so that he doesn't just push me straight back. Overhook the arm high on the shoulder, feed it to that hand. That gives a nice tight grip. It also gives me the option to collar attack him if he's only basing out and not letting me flip. But for right now, I want to flip him. Okay, so I'm in here, hand on the ground, foot comes out. I'll show you the purpose of this in a second. As I scoop my hip out and I collapse the elbow and drop. Let's say Luis keeps his balance pretty good here. Okay, so I'm all the way down and I'm lifting, but he's still up. I use this foot on the ground, the ball of my foot lifting to get more height and power to take him over. If he flattens out, of course, mount. Like I said, he knows that he doesn't want that. So as he comes up, I'm going to jam his head down. The back of my hand goes behind his neck, and I just pivot on this knee. All right? And then I got a nice position to attack from here. You guys know the triangle? It's one of my triangles that I like. You guys need to see